1 minute more and then we'll start. Okay. Okay. So let me just okay. Thank you very much for joining us today. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Grace. Yeah, we're just saying that you don't need to have your video on. If you don't want it on, you can take it off. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just quickly start. I want to really appreciate God for an opportunity to be able to share with us and to be able to give us a bit of an insight into this new concept that or this new opportunity that the Lord has provided for people to be able to come into the UK to come and teach. One of the great things about it is that this has been an issue that has been a challenge for so many people who have been teachers in various countries who have wanted to come into the UK to teach. So I'm going to, I'm just going to start basically by explaining what this is about. And I trust that God will help us to be able to go through the whole thing. So I'll share my screen and we can proceed from there. So I'll just mute everybody here. Okay. So my name is Kolade Akin, and I've been a teacher in the UK since I started my training in 2005. So I've been through the training system. I didn't train as a teacher. I have a degree in industrial mathematics, so I trained as a mathematician. So didn't plan to teach. Didn't know there was an opportunity to teach until um, God, that's what I would say, it connected me with a circumstance that eventually made me go and study, do a postgraduate in education. Because as at that point, it didn't matter what you have. Even if you had a PhD in education, you couldn't teach in the UK if you did not study in the UK. So there were several people who had PhD or who had MSc, who had BEd in education from various countries, especially Nigeria, who couldn't teach in the UK as qualified teachers. They had to go and retrain. And that was a very tedious process because you had done education and then you come into a country, you're not recognized as a teacher. And it didn't matter how many years of education you've had or teaching experience you had. So, and that's what has changed or what's going to change from the 1st of February 2023. And that's why we're putting up this free seminar so that people who want to explore this option can come in and see how that works. So we are just going to go through. So that's what it is the qualified teacher status in the UK. And we're going to be looking at a few things. What's the great news? Who is eligible? What is required to start the processing? What's the cost of processing? Because that's a major area. How long does that processing take? And what are the prospects beyond just coming into the UK? What are the other things that can open up to those that seize these opportunities? So, the great news. So I run this company called Treasured Personnel, and what we try to do is just basically to facilitate helping people to provide information for you to make a transition from outside the UK into the UK in a legal manner. That's important for us. We don't look at cutting corners, and that's what I have done with people, even people who have come in as students, who have helped. Well, even when I didn't, I was not in this field at all. So we don't apply for visas and we don't issue visas. I want to make that very clear. So we are not going to apply for your visa for you. We're going to walk you through what you need to do. We're going to help you sort of go through your application documents, ensure that you have filled in everything properly. Because one of the major things that we want to help people to do is you apply once and you get your visa. And even if they don't give it to you the first time, your um, your timeline or your tracking line is not corrupted. A lot of people apply for their visa the first time, and that creates a problem for future applications. So we are able to this is what I've done for quite a long time now. I'm not a lawyer, but I've done quite a lot of support for people who apply for visas, because I know what it takes and what people need to do, how to fill those forms, how to put information to put in there that are correct. You don't want to tell lies to them. You want to make sure everything you put in there is correct. Get your documentation right. If they say no, then you can go through the appeal process. And you know that if your documentation is correct, if your story is right, you will get your visa at the end of the day. So our job is to support you all the way and advise you about what needs to be done to achieve a successful application. So our team is made up of seasoned educational and human resource professionals who will guide you all the way. So there are people who have been in it. I've been teaching here for the last 17 years. I've been in mentoring young people for over 33 years now. So I know what it takes to get people, for people to get into education and how to be able to manage. There's so many stories that people post around about teaching in the UK. Yes, there are challenges there, but we'll walk you through how to be able to get in and how to be able to stay in, and then to get the benefits of what that presents to us. So the great news. Let me just quickly move on. So this is the key thing, and I'll quickly run through it. Teachers from certain nations outside the UK, like I explained, can now apply for the QTS. Hitherto, there was a restriction. So until this news came out a few weeks ago, there was a restriction because there was an EU regulation that restricted teachers from nations outside the EU and Switzerland. And it was not just teachers, employment in general. So for almost since 1975 till now, anybody that wants to, any company that wants to employ staff in the UK or in the EU has to first ensure there is no skilled person in that area within the EU before they can advertise it internationally. And that was a very horrible thing. So when when the UK left the EU in 2017, the door opened. So it changed because employers are now free to look for labor anywhere. And that's good news. But it still did not change much until this came out. So the UK government is proposing a new, in response to this, by preparing a new legislation, and it's called the Professional Qualifications Bill. And what is that going to do? It's going to rip off that restriction. So from the 1st of February, teachers from 8 countries are now allowed to apply for the QTS directly. And what is the QTS? It's called the Qualified Teachers Status. So that means you are qualified to teach in the UK. In any school, if you were teaching in primary, that means you can come and teach in the primary directly. If you were teaching in secondary, you can come and teach in secondary directly from your country. And those countries are Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, among other countries. So other countries, I think the other countries are Hong Kong, Jamaica, India, and Ukraine. But for today, I think my focus is on Nigeria. Hopefully, maybe we'll have some other nations that will want to join. So what is the applied? So the applied for qualified status in England will set something that is really crucial. A consistent, they set a consistent qualification standard for teachers that will teach in this country. And if they are from abroad, they want to ensure that everything is okay. Before, they didn't consider what you brought from outside. You had to get the PGCE, even if you had a postgraduate diploma in education, which most of our teachers in Nigeria had, which is the PGDE, you still cannot teach in this country. You have to get the PGCE, which is the postgraduate certificate in education. the diploma will not allow you to teach. So they didn't recognize whatever qualifications or experience you brought. You were required to retrain, even if you had 40 years of experience teaching outside of this country. So they have now recognized that teachers from this country they do have a substantial presence in the UK as valued members of the teaching force because of what some of us who have been here over these years have done, and the people who have also come from outside the country with a teaching qualification, trained with the to get the PGC and gotten into the workforce here in this country. So yeah, let me see whether, sorry, somebody just joined. Okay, Elizabeth, you're welcome. Sorry, we've already started. You pick up with, I'm just explaining exactly what's happened, and I'll recap that later. So please, you're welcome. Okay, so now they're recognizing what it is, and that is really good news for anyone who is an experienced teacher willing to relocate to the UK. So that means there's now an opportunity for you. If you've been a teacher in Nigeria, if you've been a teacher in Ghana or in Jamaica, and all these new 8 countries, there are only 8 at the moment. They're looking that by the end of next year, they're going to open it up to everybody else. So that means we need to get a head start. While we're doing this over this holiday, I know today is a bank holiday or what you call a public holiday in some of our countries, is that we need to get a head start. We need to start to prepare. So what do we need to do? We need to look at what is going to be required. So what is the qualified teacher status? I've explained that is just what you need to be able to teach in primary and in secondary schools. Most schools. There are some schools, maybe like what we call the public schools here, the ones that are owned by trust, and some churches who would not mind. They're not really uh they're not really bothered if you don't have that. If you've got a qualification from somewhere, they will take you. But those are private schools, and what we call private schools back home in Nigeria, here they're called public schools. So some of them don't have those restrictions, but they are very few, and that means the salary is different, the structure is different, and the employment terms are also different. So that's why most of the time we don't really recommend that people, it's not that you don't go there, but you want to have a status that allows you to move across various schools, so you have an option. So who is eligible? This is it. These are the countries, like I explained before. From the 1st of February, these 9 countries are going to be allowed. So Ghana, Hong Kong, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Ukraine, and Zimbabwe are going to be allowed to come in to apply to the TRA, which is the Teaching Regulation Agency, for this QTS. So, and then, yeah, these are the reasons why they said they are now allowing those nations to come in. Teachers from this country already have a substantial presence. They've established interest in teaching in England. There's an established interest. There are also strong educational ties with these countries in question. If you look at it from Nigeria, we run almost the same educational system that they run in this country, at least up to a point, and we do almost everything. We teach in English. We follow a curriculum that is similar to what is going on here. And also, there are quite a lot of our young people who have come into the education system here, bringing their qualification from Nigeria, and they've seen that they match, they match or even supersede what the students here are doing. And when you look at the results at the end of the day, it's in terms of those that excel. Students from Nigeria really do well in education. So that's a plus that has lent a weight to this becoming something for. So to apply for this is really the meat of this discussion. To apply for the QTS, what are the things that we need to have, and what are the things that we need to start to prepare? And my take today is that from today we will put these things down and then begin to act on them, so that by the 1st of February, those of us that have come for this seminar and will want to work with us to be able to process this will start to get documentation. We'll start to put things in place so that by the date, the 1st of February, you are ready to put in your application, maybe even that very day or the next day. So what do you need? The first one is you need an undergraduate degree of the same academic standard as a UK bachelor's degree. And what does that mean? It means you need to go to this body called the UK ENIC. That's the body. It used to be called NARIC before. It's now UK ENIC. You need to go there. There's a website which we'll post later when we move further beyond this, so that you can go in there, get your degree. They will ask for your transcript and some other things. You need to get that to them, so that what they do is they will convert your degree to, they'll check it and see what standard it is in with regards to a UK degree, a UK bachelor's degree. So if you've done a bachelor's degree, they're going to try and see, go through, there's a way they do their processing, and they will check. And at the end, they will send you a letter to say your degree has been verified. It is up to a bachelor's degree level. There are some countries or some schools, when you send it in, they will say, no, your degree is only up to a third year degree in, a third year study in this country, or second year, you need one more year to do this and that and that. They will tell you. So that will help us at that point. So that's the first thing we need, because that one is the key. If that is not settled, any other thing doesn't really work. Now, the second part of it is that you must have completed a teacher training that meets the standard of level 6 qualification and is at least the same length of initial teacher training course. For example, a Bachelor of Education. So if somebody has got a BEd in education, that meets the two things that we've spoken about so far. So your BEd is what you will now need to convert. Once that is converted and it meets the UK standard, that means you fulfill the two. If somebody did a bachelor in maybe in a BSc in maths or in science or in whatever, and now went to do a PGCE in their country or a postgraduate diploma, you still put it through, they will check and see what it is. So that 6 months, that level 6 is what they're looking at. So if you've done a postgraduate or a master's degree, that will be something that you can use to try and meet up that second one. But if you notice, it's a BEd or a postgraduate certificate in education. In Nigeria, I don't know if we do the PGCE. So most likely to be the bachelor's in education and possibly a master's in education or a master's in something that has to do with education. Now, that's the first part. Have completed a course with content that is practically and pedagogically focused. So this one is important. This is the area they want to see, that what you studied has content that will help you in teaching. You are qualified to teach children between the ages of 5 and 16. So they're not looking at nursery schools now, they're looking at primary school to secondary school. Have at least 1 school year of professional experience working as a teacher after you qualified. So if somebody qualified and he spent at least 1 year teaching, holidays will be about 3 months, or your half term, summer holiday. When you take that away, they want at least 1 school year. So I will expect somebody who wants to apply to have at least 2 years, which will be a good thing. 2 years of teaching, that will be okay. And the final one, which is crucial, is to have the professional status needed as a teacher in the country where you qualified. In Nigeria, I know there's a body called the teaching agent. I think the teaching regulation, or I don't know, it's where National Council of Education. I don't know what that body is, but in your country, wherever you're watching me from, yeah, you will have an option. So you will need to go to that body. If you've not registered in that body before, you need to go and register in that body. Get their registration certificate. In this country, it is called okay, so yeah. In this country, we have what we call the General Teaching Council, called the GTC. They give you the status. They give you the qualification to be able to teach. You register with them, they give you that status. Now, in Nigeria, there will be a body like that. You need to make sure you're registered with them, and that you have your subscription fee paid, and you have a certificate to prove that they have seen you as a qualified teacher in your country. So where we have gotten to so far, I think I want to pause briefly and see if there's any question that I can quickly answer before we go on. It's going to be a short thing. I just want to quickly go through a few things. Yeah. Any question, you can put it in the chat box. Oh, yeah, the TRCN. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Pastor, you're blessed, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're blessed, sir. It's grace.
Yeah.
Do we need to get our transcript, sir?
Yeah, the transcript to get
Hello,
the transcript.
I said, do we need to get our transcript?
Yes, you will need your transcript to be able to go to the UK ENIC, because that's what they're going to use in verifying your degree. So the link to that website.
Or the master's?
Pardon?
Is it the master's transcript or the undergraduate transcript?
Any transcript. You see, the key thing here is that what I will advise is that any degree that you've got, if you have a BSc and you have a master's, you want to convert both of them. It's good to have them, because once you have it, it helps you to do so many things. If you're applying for a job, you are showing them that this is what I have. You are not showing them the degree that you got from Obafemi Awolowo University. What you're going to be showing them is the UK ENIC standard. So that is what they want to see. Once they see that one, they know that they have a qualification that is in line with the UK standard. So that is the key thing.
Okay, so what helps them to convert it is the transcript, not
they
the
will need
certificate.
the transcript. Yeah, because they want to see what does your degree contain. What did you do? How many units is your, if you said you did education and they expect 120 units and your degree was 90, that means it's not met their standard. And they want to see what are those courses that you did. They are going to look at it. And the key thing is that they have a link with the Nigerian board, the board that regulates education in Nigeria. So when they give accreditation, they know whether they accredited your course, and they know what was contained in that accreditation. So they have a link to be able to check those things. So that's how they verify our degrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer to get a master's because it's closer to me than going to my degree. It's very far.
Yeah. And any one of them, like I said, the time that's why we have a month ahead now to start to look for the things that we need to look for. It's just that it's a bit a challenge. In most places, you don't need to visit the place physically to get your transcript. You can do it online, but we know some of the situation in some of our countries where things are made a bit difficult. But I trust that the Lord will help us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other question, please, before we move ahead?
Yeah, can I just add to what the sister Grace asked about the issue of the ENIC?
Yeah.
Which is formerly called the NARIC. And what we advise is, as much as possible, every certificate you have gotten in Nigeria, because when I did my own ENIC here in the UK, I submitted that of my WAEC, my NECO, my PGDE, my master's. So they all converted all of them on a single portal and issued me the certificate. So it is quite cheaper than doing it separately. So it is advisable you do, because I did for WAEC, I did for NECO. So it depends on what any employer wants to use to verify, because some employers want NECO, while some want WAEC. But I think both NECO and WAEC is recognized in the UK.
Yeah.
And also my master's, my PGME, my BSc. Someone asked in the chat box, what is level 6? Here in the UK, master's is considered as level 7.
7, yeah.
PGCE is also considered as level 7 too. Then BSc is considered as level 6. So I'll advise anyone who does that to just do everything at once and get a single paper that shows all your degree you have or all your certificate you have gotten from Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think Chuka asks, how long does it take? It takes between 3 weeks to 4 weeks after you have submitted your original certificate and your transcript.
Yeah.
For WAEC, you don't need to submit your, because there's something like transcript in WAEC. So just submit your original WAEC certificate or NICO certificate. But for your PGCE or your master's, you need to submit your original, your final certificate and your transcript.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bro Henry. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Thank you. I want to ask a question based on what the last speaker just said.
Yeah, that's all right.
For the submission of certificates, is it certificate or transcript, or certificate and transcript? I'm asking because institutions in Nigeria takes a while to get transcript for some of the degree courses that we've taken, but for most of them we have certificates of completion. So
Yeah.
can the certificate suffice, or do I have to go back to the school and request for transcript of those certificates?
I think
Yes,
Bro
you
Henry will
need your
come back here.
transcript. Yes, you need your transcript.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I did at first I was not having my PGCE, my postgraduate diploma in mechanical engineering. So they'll need your original certificate and your course. It is the transcript that tells them whether the course you've done, whether it aligns with the standard here in the UK.
Oh, okay, thank you. Then, can I apply for the student's copy of those transcripts? Because sometimes they also insist on sending the transcripts themselves directly to the institutions that are requiring for them.
Yes, you can apply for the student copy. In fact, I think what I did at the point was, because I understand how the education system in Nigeria works. So at a point, instead of going through the CNET to get the final transcript, I just asked someone from the department if they could help me print out my departmental results that shows the courses I have done, as long as it is signed by the HOD or a departmental head, then it applies. So what I did was that for my master's, it was easier for me to get my transcript from the CNET.
Okay.
While for my BSc, I could not get my transcript from the CNET. So I just asked someone to help me go to the department, go to the exam officer and help me print all the courses I have done that shows the grade. So what the UK NARIC does or ENIC does is that they go through the courses and see like what the speaker said, to see that it meets the standard there, it got the required credit units and the required courses you ought to do. You did it. I think it helps.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bro Henry. Yeah, he's part of the team we're working together to get to support those who are planning to apply. So that information is from someone who knows the nitty-gritty about ENIC. So please, it's really crucial. I know it's difficult, like you shared, getting those things, but you see, if we don't have those things, ENIC will take a long time, and they might not give us what we want. We don't want to go and waste money applying, and then they tell us that it's not up to standard because of some reasons. I know it's difficult, but please let's take that pain to get the required documentation. If we are planning to go ahead, it will really help on the long run. We don't want to just go and apply for the QTS and then they reject it. So we want to do it well, and that's why we're going through this. Okay, so like I said, what is required? We've spoken about those things. You go to the ENIC website. I think that's the first thing. And the other thing that I also want us to do, I tend to encourage people to do this. And the reason is because I've seen people whose visas were rejected once. It's not all the time, but I've seen it happen before. And from that date, I try to encourage people, if you've got a certificate, I know it's costly to do what I'm going to say here, but it's always good. Get documentation to be certified by a notary public. Somebody's applied for a visa before and they said they could not verify the authenticity of that document. And the person said, they say you should have done this. You say, but you didn't tell me. They say you should know. So sometimes it might not be needed, but if there's an opportunity to do it, please do it. Get your documentation. If you've got a certificate, if you've got even your marriage certificate, birth certificate, well, some of those things, get them signed by a notary public with a stamp. So that when you're presenting those documentation, not only are you presenting documentation that comes from a particular office, it is also carrying a legal status as now a legal document. So whoever is seeing that document looks at it that this is not what they produce under the bridge. This is a document that has a legal backing with it. Even though they might say, we might say, oh, is it Nigeria that we are looking at? Oh, is it Ghana? Or is it Zimbabwe? We know that people can do things in the eye of the law, which is what this country stands for. Because you see, why I always insist on things like this is because it's not always that people's application goes through the first time. Sometimes people apply, there's no reason. The person says, I just feel there's something not right. Now, when you are going to appeal, those are the things that you're going to need to show that, listen, my document is like this. My document is like this. Because once you submit your document, you can't make any amendment. Anything you add to it after in an appeal is not allowed. They only base your application on what you submitted initially in any appeal. I'm not saying that our applications will be rejected, but please, let's understand we are dealing with human beings here who make mistakes. People who can also decide to just be biased in a way. And if you're going to want to redress those things, you need to make sure you dot all the I's, cross all the T's. Yeah, so we've looked at this. I've spoken about the teaching regulation body in your country, which is, if you're in Nigeria, they say the TCRN or TRNC. I don't know which of them, please. If you know which one it is in your country, get that qualification. Go and pay the money. It might be a bit of money, but please get it. Also, I say get written proof of years of service as a teacher. You will need this. Your letter of appointment, if you had appraisals, promotion letters, reference from your current or last place of work, get those things. Keep them handy. It might not be needed, but if it's needed, you don't want to now be running helter-skelter, sending somebody to go and get it. Get those things. Keep them in a file. What I tend to get people to do is get a file. Don't just also get it in a paper form. Get it scanned and let it be in a PDF form so that you have it on your email, so that anytime they ask for it, you can send the email to somebody. So get a PDF form. PDF is easy to get now on your phone. If you get what they call a CS scanner, you can scan any document with your phone and you save it as a PDF file. It is saved forever, except you lose that account. So please get those things as well. And yeah, I think this is something that I'll just quickly add to it now. As we begin our journey, get an international passport if you're planning to go. But these are things that will come later. The international passport is not number one. It is that ENIC that is number one. That ENIC is number one. Get your conversion. Register with your teaching agency. This one is still something we are battling with the UK government over. Number 4. That if we have studied in Nigeria, we are a Commonwealth nation, we have studied in English, we shouldn't be writing this exam. But for now, it's still expected. We are trusting God that in a few, maybe by the end of this year or going forward, we will be able to fight so that they remove this from people coming from Nigeria who want to come and study, having to pay and having to do this. But for now, please get that done as well. Get a CV with a minimum of 1 year experience teaching student pupils between 5 and 16. And then these other ones, we will now begin to look at this number 6, getting an employer. One of the key things we are also going to be supporting people with, this is why we are in this, is how do you go for an interview? Because some interviews you might need to do online. especially in this case, since you will not be in the country to apply. So they will want you to do a teaching online. How do you do that? We're going to be able to support you to do those things. And then all the other things that you will need to do, police clearance, certificate, TB, IHS certificate, all those things are things that are going to be down the line. But with what we've done so far, the key information here is to get your certificates and get your registration. Once those two things are done, then we can begin to move to all the other things down the line. And then the aspect of applying. But if we could do this first two, this number 2 and number 3 before 1st of February, we will have been way ahead of everybody else. So that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, I think the English language proficiency thing, this is the standard they expect you to meet. IELTS 5.5, language sets 33 out of 50, Pearson 59, Trinity College London, you need to get a pass, PSI Services UK Limited, a pass as well. All these are the English language tests that they expect you to have. But we are trying to make sure, like I said before, to zero it down so that we stop at just the fact that we've been taught in English in Nigeria, so we don't need to do that. Yeah, so that's yeah. So I think this is going forward. That's why this is why it's important that we join this first batch, because okay, yes, I will do that. I'll send that list to those of us that have registered. Yeah, don't worry, I'll do that. I'll send that. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah. So this is something that is going to kick in later. So that's why it's good that we join this first batch. What you need to know about this country is that they will keep amending. They will keep adding things to it. So if you don't go with the first set, you don't know what's going to happen by the time this legislation or this bill becomes law and they fine tune it. So they are looking at mathematics qualification for you to have passed maths to a level, science qualification. So they are looking at some of those things. So however, we know from research that applicants find it difficult to provide this evidence. So for this reason, we'll introduce this criteria later. So they are looking to introduce it later. So you can show that if they say we are looking to introduce it, you're sure it's part of the plan. So please, let's get all those things as quickly as possible. Now, what's the cost of processing? For the QTS, it's free. So this is important. Yeah, you check your eligibility, but I've gone to the portal, I've been in touch with them. They have told me that the portal is still being designed, so it's not available for you to check at the moment. So, but you see, the key thing is that if you've gotten all the documentation by 1st of February, once it hits 1st of February, you go to the website and you can go through their process. It's going to be, their websites are always very easy for you to go through, put in your documentation. We will be there by that 1st of February as well to look at the things that are there. I'm going to go through it myself so that I know what exactly you need to do and we can walk through your going through that the application so you don't get it wrong. And the key thing is that your information needs to match. This is where a lot of people run into trouble. They go and put the wrong date. Wrong date of birth is on their on their certificate. Wrong date of birth is on their birth certificate. Name on your passport must match the name on your certificate. People come in, sometimes they put surname first, middle name is at the end, first name is in the middle. In this country, there's a way they do it. If your name is the other way around, they disqualify you because they will tell you it doesn't match. So you need to be very careful the way your name is on your certificate, the way it is on your passport, the way it is on your birth certificate. All of them need to match. If you're married, now that you're married, you need to have the documentation to show that you changed your name. That is where this notary public thing, This legal documentation is important. Marriage certificate, they always ask for it here. Get it if you are married. Let it be signed to show that you are married legally. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, there's a message there. Okay. What will happen is yeah, Nwakego. Sorry, don't mind me. I didn't pronounce it very well. This is being recorded, so I will direct you. When we finish, I will send you the link so that you can watch what we've discussed so far. But everything is on this PowerPoint, so it's something that but the link is going to be there for you to be able to go through what we've discussed so far. So we've just discussed basically what we need to do and how we need to prepare ourselves for the 1st of February. So yeah, so who is it for? The cost of processing, you don't need, it's a free application. You don't need to pay anything. You check that you're eligible. This is what it is. You check if you're eligible. You understand the types of evidence that were provided. They will ask some questions. This should take about 5 minutes. There is no charge to apply for the QTS, and you do not need to be in the UK to use this service. This is the link that you are going to need to be able to make that application. Sorry, let me go back. So this is the website where that is going to happen. But at the moment, it's not functioning because they've not set it up. It's going to go live on the 1st of February. So when we finish, I will be putting this, I'll be sending this to us in an email as well so that we get ready. But like I said, please, let's get the documentation. So there's no fee for this part of it. Now, yeah, let me see. I think there's a question there. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So how long is the processing? Like we said, in terms of, there's no set time for processing, but the preparation for each candidate can affect the speed as well as the outcome. So in terms of processing your QTS, they will give all those details on the website once it goes live. But I don't think it's going to be that hard. It's good. When they say it's a 5-minute thing, it means it's not a lot of documentation. If you already have the ENIC conversion, it makes it easy because all they will do is they'll just go to ENIC and check that your document, that the document you presented is correct. Once they see that, they match it, they give you your QTS, and that means you're ready. Oh, the English proficiency certificate. Yeah, I showed that a few minutes ago. The IELTS is one of them. Let me see if I can quickly go back. Yeah, these are the ones that are allowed, that they want. The IELTS Consortium, Language Set, Pearson, Trinity College, PSI Services UK Limited. So those are the 5 that they really look towards. So, but the IELTS, I think that's the common one. But on their website, eventually they will tell you what you need. But I think if you got this one, you are good to go. Yeah. So yeah, and this thing is crucial. The length of a process, your ability to get the correct documentation on time with proper accreditation of such can go a long way in affecting the speed. A lot of people in this country, once the documentation is not correct, they will reject it, and you don't want that to happen. So it's good. So this is the area that I always also encourage people. If you get in as a teacher, it's not just your day-to-day job. You also have opportunities for what you call private tutoring. And this is something that you can make money from. You can join an agency, you can do it privately, look for clients within your community. But beyond that, you can also make your money this way as well. So those are key things. If you come into the country, you learn. One of the things that we're going to be doing, which this company will do as well, is to help people understand how to be able to work effectively in this country, especially with young people in this country. I will quickly put a caveat here. The way we teach in Africa doesn't work here. When I mean teach, dealing with behavior, that's one of the challenges that a lot of people have in terms of, oh, children here don't respect people. I've been teaching there for 17 years, and I've taught in almost every kind of school. I've taught in special needs schools. I've taught in schools where you have almost like 90% behavioral issues. I've taught in various places, and I have been able to navigate through all of them. Even though I didn't even train as a teacher in Nigeria, I did a PGCE here. But the key thing is that to be able to adapt, to understand the system, to look at what am I here to do. I'm not here to parent a child. I'm here to teach this child. I'm here to create an opportunity, an environment where this children's life can be changed. And I'm not going to force them to do it. I'm not going to expect a student here to carry my bag. I'm not going to expect a student here to carry my books. It's not going to happen. If they want to carry, they carry. So I'm not going to get offended because they didn't do it. You need to learn that. So it's a mindset. So that's one of the things we're going to be offering, to understand the mindset of being able to navigate the teaching system here so that you are effective, so that you can touch those lives. And beyond that, you can also make your money. Because at the end of the day, you want to make money. That's what you want to do. So what do you need to do? You need to go low. You are not going to expect that you are going to tell a child to kneel down or put their hands up. It's not going to happen. So you're not going to touch a child because it's not allowed. So how do you navigate down around that? Is that going to stop you from being able to teach? No. So you're still going to be able to do what you need to do. You're going to be able to do what you need to do without that becoming a problem. A lot of people say, oh, that's a problem. How am I not going to do that? No, you can teach without those other sides of it, and you can be an effective teacher. If that's what happens in this, a teacher who trains here cannot carry the mindset of teaching here to Nigeria. It's not going to work. And a teacher who is here, who is in Nigeria, must come into this country with a different mindset, and you must adapt. So that adaptability is crucial if you're going to be effective as a teacher here. So heavens will not fall down because you can't tell a child to kneel down or go and fetch water or do those things. No, you are still going to be an effective teacher because your skills are beyond just that discipline side. We discipline. I discipline my kids here. The students I discipline. They know I don't take nonsense from them as much as they know I'm friendly with them. So I've created an environment where I'm able to discipline without having to do it the way I would have done it in some of our countries. And yet it is effective. Am I saying all of them are going to turn out good? No. That doesn't mean they're going to obey or they're going to do what they need to do, but I don't take it personal. So I need to move beyond that. So those are key things that we're going to be able to help you and support you with so that you can eventually become yeah. So you can become the teacher that you've always dreamed of being, and especially in a different nation. So that's yeah, so that's it. I think we've come to yeah. So these are just some few websites that are also sent to us in terms of finding jobs. Uh, uh, this is an agency. These two are agencies. This test.co.uk is where all the schools in the UK put their jobs. So you'll see what the requirements are, and we're going to be able to walk you through how do you apply, how do you write your CV. Some of the CVs we write in some of our countries won't work here. So how do you write a CV here? How do you make your CV UK compliant? Because it's important. The way it will work, what they ask for in Nigeria might not be what they look for here. They don't need your age. They don't need they don't need some of the things. They don't even need your address in some cases. All they need is who are you? What are you bringing to the plate? Those are the key things. How do you present those things? So we'll be able to walk through those things. So that's just basically the summary of this time. So these are a few of us don't mind those pictures. So that's just basically what this is about. So going forward, like I said, if we now want to go forward and you want us to work with you to be able to get these things, we will now my email address. I'll put my email address in the chat box, so you can now contact me, and then we'll now start a process. We'll now look at what is the way forward. How do we support you officially now? So it's not this. So this is, like I said, this is just a taster session, so that we can give you some bit of information, and then we can move on from there. Yeah. Any questions, please?
Sir, sorry, please. I got disconnected at a point in time. The documents you were talking about, you talked about birth certificate, marriage certificate. I didn't get the others.
Oh, no. I didn't. I was just saying that you will need to have your documentation correct. And what I said, so I'm putting my, that's my email address.
Okay,
So, which if you have further questions and you want us to work with you moving forward, then you can send me an email and then we'll talk formally on the process and what we'll do and how we're going to be able to support you. But like I said, the documentation in terms of, let's say, your birth certificate, it's important that you have your birth certificate, have your marriage certificate, change of name, get those documentation, get them notary public so that they are official document. They are not now just a paper. Because once a notary public puts a stamp on it, that is now a legal document. It's not something anybody looks at and they just think, oh, it's just a paper. Now, beyond that, I also explained that all your documentation, make sure you have it in a PDF form. Really crucial. Have it in a PDF form, because when you have it in a PDF form, it helps you to be able to transfer it. So if you're sending something to somebody, you don't need to be looking for an envelope. You just send it as an email and you have a folder where you keep those things. So scan those documents, keep them, so that when they ask for those documents, you just attach it. So because most of your application, they would want the attached document. They don't want a photograph of it. They want a scanned copy. So you look for a proper phone, scan it properly, let it be clear, colored form, so that it shows exactly what the document is. And then I also encourage people, all my certificates, I've laminated them. So they are laminated. So anytime I need them, I just go into the folder where I have them, I bring them out. And if I want to scan it again, I scan it. It remains original because it's water won't pour on it. It doesn't ring, there's no wrinkles on it. So it remains firm. So that's why you need to do those things. So get your documentation. If you don't have a passport, an international passport, get one. And like I explained, your name is crucial. The name on your passport is important, the way it's written. If your first name, because they always ask for your first name, like my first name is Kolade. Now, my first name will be, if I'm going to write my name, and they say surname Akin, first name Kolade, second name is going to be, my first name is Kolade, my second name, my last name is going to be Olamide. So that's the way I'm going to write my name. So if I now go and mix it and put Olamide before Kolade, if that's not the way it's on my passport, that document becomes invalid. They will not process that information because the two names are different. Yeah, the two names are different. So you need to be careful. So if your name is Thomas Adebayo or Thomas Odunayo Adebayo, if that's the way your name is, and your name they call you is Thomas, that's your first name. So your middle name is Odunayo. Your surname is Adebayo. If you go and write Odunayo Thomas Adebayo, you have changed the sequence of your name.
Okay.
So that can become a problem. So get it right, and then so check all those things. Whichever
one
is
second name.
Yeah. Your surname, your first name, the name that you bear, really the one that they call you, and then your last name. But make sure make sure that name is the way it is on your passport. Don't change the sequence. If the way your name is on your certificate, let that be the way it is on your passport.
Okay.
And any name that is on your certificate, let that be the names that are on your passport. Okay. If your name changes due to marriage, get marriage, your marriage certificate, and get your change of name as well. Okay.
Yeah. The time when will the portal open?
On the 1st of February. 1st of February, the portal will open on the 1st of February.
Which link are we going to use, sir?
Yeah, those are things that I'm going to get across to you. Like I said, it was on the PowerPoint. Let me see if I can get that back again. Yeah, this link. Apply for QTS in England.education. It's a long thing, but when we start to discuss, we'll be able to get all that one shot. But if you go to the gov.uk website, you will find you'll be able to find, if you put QTS on it, you'll find it. So if you just type www.gov.uk and you type QTS, all this information, you'll be able to get it from there. Okay, so any other question before we close? I think our time is actually up. Yeah, we're exactly on 1 hour.
A question, please.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon once again. Please, now in February 1st, when the portal will be opened, among the things you listed that we should get ready, you spoke about the English proficiency test, and common one over here is the IELTS. So are we to take the exam or just hold on?
It's better to take it. You see, because like I said, you want to get the heads up. So you want to be ready. I don't know the validity. I don't know how long if you take it, I don't know what's the expiry. I don't know much about that at the moment.
I think it's about 3 years.
Oh, so that's great. So if you can do it now, if you can go and register this afternoon and start to read for it and get it by the next second week of January, you've gotten something that is crucial. You're already one step ahead. So, and then get your documentation. Yeah.
Okay, so all our other certificates in English cannot bypass the IELTS?
At the moment, I'm not sure. You see, because for me, I always prefer to have something more than to not have enough.
Okay.
So it's important, because you see, the system here is a bit funny. They've not allowed Nigerians to teach in the UK for ages, even though they colonized us, even though they gave us the education system. Some of us I had to fight. Till today, I've never converted my degree. I refused to convert it. I told them I don't have time for that. Not every school I've gone to. When I went for my PGC, they say I should bring conversion. I said I don't convert my degree. If you want any information about it, go to Nigeria. I insisted. I didn't convert my degree. And I've done two postgraduate degrees here. I've not converted it for any of them. Now, that was me. But they insist on those things. So you need to know that it's better to have those things ahead. I didn't convert my WAEC. I didn't convert any of them. I've taken it live. Anytime I go with my original. I tell them, this is my certificate. If you have any issue, contact. You do the conversion yourself. So, and that's how I've operated here. And I've been here for over 25 years now, and I've not done any conversion. So that was for me. But other people had to go through. So I'm not saying that because I did it, it works for other people. That's just the way it worked for me. So get the IELTS, keep it there. If it is, I don't know how much it is. If it's costly, I don't know. But they've not allowed us so far. They're still insisting on that IELTS for people coming in here. So, but we are working, we're trying to see how we can insist on them changing it. But it will take a while. The system here doesn't change easily. So, but we are trusting God that we'll be able to get that change. And then people will just come in directly. Yeah.
Yeah, let me add to what Mr. Kolade have said about the issue of the IELTS. Indeed, it has really been an issue, even for nurses coming to the UK. If you have followed the news closely, there was a time that the Vice President of Nigeria was involved about the issue. He wrote to the embassy, he wrote to the educational system, even to the Home Office. And several people have written petitions concerning the issue of the IELTS. And from the last update I know, the Home Secretary, they say they're looking into the issue. But like what the speaker said, it could take a long while before the issue is finally resolved. But hopefully we believe that one day it will be resolved. But since the requirement says for now that anyone who wants to come to the UK to teach must have the IELTS results, I want to believe it is wise that one gets it. And it is even wiser you go for the UKVI because they have different kinds of IELTS. And IELTS could be used in Canada, in America, even though America does more of TOEFL. But the UK also has their own specific IELTS, and which is also used for visa application.
Yeah.
And it's called the UKVI. UKVI IELTS. It is a little costlier compared to the normal IELTS. If you go online and type IELTS result or IELTS fee, you see that it will pop out the normal IELTS and also the UKVI. And the UKVI is written only in Abuja and Lagos. But the other IELTS were written in Calabar and some other centers. So for those who are looking at going for the IELTS, I will advise that you go for the UKVI because one thing you must know is that beyond you showing the educational sector here your IELTS proficiency result, you also need your IELTS to apply for your visa because these are two different bodies. When you are coming to the UK, you need to prove to the visa office that you are able to speak English to some level. Although what is happening right now is that since you'll be converting your result to ENIC is a proof to show that you have some level of English understanding. But just to be on the safer side, it's good you go for your UKVI. And also to add to what the speaker said, I will advise that anyone who is starting the process should start and begin doing everything at once, because when you begin to say you want to first do your passport, I know what it takes to get a passport in Nigeria. Some people could stay up to 3, 4, 5 months trying to get a passport in Nigeria. So you start with your passport application on one side, on the other side, begin to process your transcript. One thing I know about the ENIC is that when you upload your certificate and your certificate and your transcript, when they tell you the date it will be out, on that date you see your transcript, you see your letter of conversion. So I will advise anyone who wants to start the process, begin everything at once so that things begin to run parallel. And with prayers, let's see how God helps us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. Any other question so we can round up for today? Please, if you know people who are in the education field who want this information, you know the link, send it to them. Somebody actually told me that sent me a mail in a group where he said that somebody said, I've been in the UK, I had to go back to my country, it was rubbish. I said, that's okay, that was his experience, but shouldn't make that everybody's experience. I have also been here. That was his experience. He sent me just an outline of what happened in the school where he taught, and me reading what he wrote, I knew that he was a problem, that he was not ready to adapt. That was why he had a serious problem. He refused to change. The person wrote some very nasty things on that page, discouraged all the other people who wanted to apply. And I looked, I laughed. I said, look at this guy now. He's made a hash of his own experience. He's made a hash of his own teaching opportunities. And now he's discouraged other people. So, but yeah, that's it. So, yeah, sorry, Elizabeth, yeah.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, the speaker, and Henry, my brother. Thank you for sending me the reminder and the invitation link. I appreciate you all. Sir, I want to find out 3 things here. 1, when do you do the ENIC conversion? Is it before the application or during the process?
Yeah,
That is
before.
Okay, before. Can one start it now? How do we go about it?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Any information that you need, if you are looking to go forward, then you will need to get in touch with me. I've put my email there, so if you can send the questions there, so I can deal with that on a one-to-one, because this is just a general forum now, and like I shared with us, this is recorded, so
Okay.
we can send the link to you so you can go through and understand the thing that we have discussed so far.
Okay, so then secondly, for the For the IELT, which of the where do we register? Is it from Beatrice Council in Nigeria here?
At the moment, I will not be able to.
Online. You register online.
Yeah. Somebody has a question. UKVI academics or UKVI general training. We will need to investigate those ones and
Yes,
get
I
back to
think we
you.
need to get
Yeah.
that to know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So the key thing is that, like I said, this is just to provide the first level of information. If we are planning to go ahead, then we will later on discuss and look at where we can get involved and how we can support you to go through all those other stages. So that's yeah. Yeah, sorry, you said you had one more question.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow's meeting, is it for everybody or for those that want to further?
No. It's a different set of people. It's the same thing that I'm going to be discussing tomorrow. This week is just basically a free seminar just to introduce what's happening to people. So once we finish, by the time from January, we'll now get into real business to look at now who are the people that are willing to go ahead. What do we need to do? How do we support you? What's the next stage? And then we'll take you through. So we want to be able to look at documentation, because one of the things we are going to be doing is that we want to look at the documentation you're presenting so that we can advise you right. So that we can look at, like, this issue of passport. Now I'll be able to look at it and say, okay, you send me your copy of your passport, or somebody's gone to one of our officers will verify and say, okay, this is your passport, this is your birth certificate, this is your qualification. Do they match? Before you go and apply for a visa, or before you even go into all the other things, so that you get, because once you get the QTS, getting a job is not a major problem. The QTS is the goal. Once you get that one, even if you don't get a job in the UK, the QTS allows you to work anywhere in the world. That's one of the major parts of it. The qualifying teacher status of England allows you to work in almost every country. It opens up opportunities to you. So that's why you want to get it. But the idea I would advise anybody is to first come into the UK, teach here, even if it's for 1 year or 2 years, and then you can choose wherever you want to go afterwards.
That means we are still free to join tomorrow.
Yeah. If you've registered for tomorrow, yeah, that's all right. You're free. Send it to people. Okay. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. We need to put this put this session to a close now. I want to really appreciate everybody for coming, and I want to just a minute. I wanted to put in. Yeah. Let me just quickly put this, please. It won't take more than 2 minutes. I put a poll on for us. Please go down and check for polls. Please, I just need an answer from you. We just want to be able to take stock and be able to look at what we're doing. So I've put the poll there. Please click on your screen and check for the polls. They're just about 5 questions. Please just give your answers, and we can look at that going forward. Yeah, so that will help us in our next delivery as well. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we got 2 answers. We need 4 more or 3 more. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you so much. Please, like I said, if you know people who are willing to do this, please send the information to them. It's free at this stage, and then we're going to go to the next level. Then we'll discuss a bit further. But I believe that this is going to be for the best for all of us, so that we can explore the opportunities that the UK presents to us, to our family, and to those that are connected with us. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Yeah. So do have a wonderful day, and please, yeah. Thank you very much. God bless you. Do have a wonderful day.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.